Food addiction is spiritual bondage. Stick with me. It's not merely, I love the taste of food, I can't get enough of cheese, I love cinnamon rolls and cake. There's a spiritual component that can't be ignored so long as you want to free yourself from the enslavement of addiction. And right now we're specifically talking about food addiction. To address food addiction through its spiritual lens, we first have to distinguish between the lower will, which is the appetite of the flesh, and the higher will, which is the rational will that comes from the spirit. So it's the flesh versus the spirit. The lower appetite versus the higher rational will. Food addiction is spiritual bondage because so long as your lower appetite is your master, so long as you succumb to the lower appetite, the appetite of the flesh, that appetite has mastership over you. That appetite runs you. You serve that appetite as opposed to forcing your flesh, the appetites of your flesh, to serve you. Instead, you serve the appetites of your flesh. So if my body wants it, I give it to my body because my body is my master. I don't serve the higher rational will. I don't serve the Lord. Best book on addictions. Satan enters this drama because he has a special interest in exploiting the body's natural needs and desires. This goes for sex, food, any of your fleshly appetites. If something feels physically good, you can bet he will try to take advantage of it. That's why the world implores us to indulge in hedonism. So the reason why people say that looking to the Lord and serving the Lord affords them freedom, whereas serving themselves and their flesh keeps them enslaved in bondage, it's because you are enslaved by what masters you. If worldly and fleshly desires master you, then you are a slave to that thing. So you become enslaved in your supposed freedom. I have freedom to consume what I want, eat what I want, say what I want, do whatever I want, and indulge in as much hedonism as I want, and ultimately you become a slave to that hedonism. That's why people say they find freedom in the Lord, because if the higher power, if the rational will, if God is your master, that means you've been freed, unenslaved from the false freedom that is indulging in as many fleshly and worldly desires as you want. So gluttony, food addiction, is a sort of false freedom. It's the enemy telling you, you can do whatever, you can consume as much as you want in whatever quantities you want. There's a certain air of, well, I'm free to indulge as much as I want, but ultimately I'm enslaved because now the food, my appetite, my stomach runs me. I thought I was free, but I'm actually a slave. I'm a slave to my appetite. I'm a slave to food. So that's where we break the spiritual bondage. We say no to our fleshly appetite, our lower appetite, and we say yes to the higher rational will. That's why the Bible says beat your flesh into submission, because your flesh constantly wants you to do one thing, usually the inversion of your rational will. That's why we say I don't want to do it, but I always end up doing it. We're letting our lower will win over our higher rationality.